Caritamrta Chapter 2 Adi Lila. I offer my obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even an ignorant child can swim across the ocean of conclusions about the ultimate truth, which is full of the crocodiles of various theories. O my merciful Lord Chaitanya, may the nectarian Ganges water of your transcendental activities flow on the surface of my desert-like tongue. Beautifying these waters are the lotus flowers of singing, dancing, and loud chanting of Krishna's holy name, which are the pleasure abodes of unalloyed devotees. These devotees are compared to swans, ducks, and bees. The river's flowing produces a melodious sound that gladdens their ears. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Sri Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to the devotees of the Lord Gauranga. Let me describe the meaning of the third verse of the first 14. It is an auspicious vibration that describes the absolute truth. What the Upanishad describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as the Super Soul, but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna himself, full with six opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. Impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead are three subjects, and the glowing effulgence, the partial manifestation, and the original form are their three respective predictes. A predicate always follows its subject. Now I shall explain the meaning of this verse according to the revealed scripture. Krishna, the original form of the personality of Godhead, is the summum bonum of all pervading Vishnu. He is all perfect knowledge and all perfect bliss. He is the supreme transcendence. He who Srimad Bhagavatam describes as the son of Nanda Maharaj, as a descendant to earth as Lord Chaitanya. In terms of his various manifestations, he is known in three features, called the impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and the original personality of Godhead. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth say that it is a non-dual knowledge, and it is called impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead. What is the Upanishad called the transcendental impersonal Brahman is the realm of the glowing effulgence of the same supreme person. As with the naked eye, one cannot know the sun except as a glowing substance merely by philosophical speculation. One cannot understand Lord Krishna's transcendental varieties. I worship Govinda, the premier Lord, who is endowed with great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes. Lord Brahma said, the opulences of the impersonal Brahman spread throughout the million and millions of universes. That Brahman is but the bodily effulgence of Govinda. I worship Govinda. He is my Lord. Only by His grace I am empowered to create the universe. Naked saints and sannyasis who undergo severe physical penance, who can raise the semen to the brain, and who are completely equiposed in Brahman can live in the realm known as Brahmaloka. He who is described in the Yoga Shastras as the indwelling Supersoul Atma Antaryami is also a plenary portion of Govinda's personal expansion. As the one sun appears reflected in countless jewels, so Govinda manifests himself as Paramatma in the hearts of all living beings. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna said, "What more shall I say to you? I live throughout the cosmic manifestation merely by my single plenary portion." Grandfather Bhishma said, "As the one sun appears differently situated in different spheres, so also do you, the unborn, appear differently represented as the Paramatma in every living being. But when the seer knows himself to be one of your own servitors, no longer does he maintain such duality. Thus I am now able to comprehend your eternal forms, knowing well the Paramatma to be only your plenary portion. That Govinda personally appears as Chaitanya Goswami, who no other Lord is as merciful in delivering the fallen souls. Lord Narayana, who dominates the transcendental world, is full in six opulences. He is personality of Godhead, the Lord of the Goddess of Fortune. The personality of Godhead is He who is described as the absolute truth in the Vedas, Bhagavatam, Upanishad, and other transcendental literatures. No one is equal to Him. Through their service, devotees see the personality of Godhead, just as the denizens of heaven see the personality of the sun. Those who walk the path of knowledge and yoga worship Him only, for it is Him they perceive as the impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma. Thus one may understand the glories of the Lord through different modes of worship, as the example of the sun illustrates. Narayana and Sri Krishna are the same personality of Godhead, but though they are identical, their bodily features are different. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, has two hands and holds a flute, whereas the other Narayana has four hands with conch, whale, mace, and lotus. O Lord of Lords, you are the seer of all creation. You are indeed everyone's dearest life. Are you not, therefore, my father Narayana? Narayana refers to one whose abode is in the water, born from the Nara, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and that Narayan is your plenary portion. All your plenary portions are transcendental. They are absolute and are not creations of Maya. After Brahma had offended Krishna by stealing his playmates and calves, he begged the Lord's pardon for the offensive act and prayed for the Lord's mercy. I took birth from the lotus that grew from your navel. Thus you are both my father and my mother, and I am your son. Parents never take seriously the offenses of their children. I therefore beg your pardon and ask for your benediction. Sri Krishna said, O Brahma, your father is Narayan, but I am but a cowherd boy. How can you be my son? Brahma replied, You are not Narayan. You are certainly Narayan, because uh, please listen as I state the proofs. Okay, I'll read that text 35 again. Brahma replied, Are you not Narayan? You are certainly Narayan. Please listen as I state the proofs. All the living beings within the material and spiritual world are ultimately born of you, and you are the super soul of them all. As the earth is the original cause and shelter of all pots made of earth, so you are ultimate cause and shelter for all living beings. The word Nara refers to the aggregate of all the living beings, and the word Ayana refers to the refuge of them all. You are therefore the original Narayan. This is one reason. Please listen as I state the second. The direct lords of the living being are the Purusha incarnations, but your opulence and power are more exalted than theirs. Therefore, you are the premier Lord, the original Father of everyone. The Purushas are protectors of the universes by your power. Since you protect those who are the shelter of all living beings, you are the original Narayan. O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, kindly hear my third reason. There are countless universes and fathomless transcendental Vaikunthas, both in the material and in the transcendental world. You see all the deeds of all living beings in the past, present, and future. Since you are the witness of all such deeds, you know the essence of everything. All the worlds exist because you oversee them. None can live, move, or have their being without your supervision. You oversee the wanderings of all living beings. For this reason also you are the premier Lord Narayan. Krishna said, Brahma, I cannot understand what you are saying. Lord Narayana, he who sits in the heart of all living beings and lies down in the waters of the Karana ocean. Brahma replied, What I have said is true. The same Lord Narayan who lives on the waters and in the hearts of the living being is but a plenary portion of you. The Karan Dakshaya, Garbhodakshaya, and Shirodakshaya forms of Narayan all create in cooperation with the material energy. In this way, they are all attached to Maya. There are three Vishnus lying in the water, are the super soul of everything. The super soul of all the universes is known as the first Purusha. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is the super soul of the aggregate of living entities, and Shirodakshaya Vishnu is the super soul of each living being. Superficially, we see that these Purushas have a relationship with Maya, but above them, in the fourth dimension, is Lord Krishna, who has no contact with the material energy. In the material world, the Lord is designated as Virat, Hiranyagarbha, and Karana. But beyond these three designations, the Lord is ultimately in the fourth dimension. Although these three features of the Lord deal directly with the material energy, none of them are touched by it. They are all beyond illusion. This is the opulence of the Lord. Although situated in the material nature, he is never affected by the mode of nature. Similarly, those who have surrendered to him and fixed their intelligence upon him are not influenced by the modes of nature. You are the ultimate shelter of these three plenary portions. Thus there is not the slightest doubt that you are the primeval Narayan. The source of these three features of the Narayan in the spiritual sky. He is your Vilasha expansion. Therefore, you are the ultimate Narayan. Therefore, according to the authority of Brahma, the Narayan who is in the predominating deity in the transcendental world is but the Vilasha of Krishna. This has now been conclusively proved. The truth indicated in this verse, text 30, is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. This conclusion, the synonymous, applies everywhere. Not knowing that Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan are all features of Krishna, foolish scholars speculate in various ways. Because Narayan has four hands, whereas Krishna looks like a man, they say that Narayan is the original God, whereas Krishna is but the incarnation. In this way, the arguments appear in various forms, but the poetry of the Bhagavatam expertly refutes them all. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth say that it is non-dual knowledge and is called impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma and the personality of Godhead. My dear brothers, kindly listen to the explanation of this verse and consider its meaning. The only original entity is known in his three different features. Lord Krishna himself is one, undivided, absolute truth, the ultimate reality. He manifests himself in three features as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan. The import of these verses has stopped you from arguing. Now listen to another verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. All these incarnations of Godhead are either plenary portions or part of plenary portions of the Purusha avatars. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. In every age, he protects the world through his different features when the world is disturbed by the enemies of Indra. The Bhagavatam describes the symptoms of deeds of the incarnations in general and counts Sri Krishna among them. This made Sutta Goswami greatly apprehensive. Therefore, he distinguished each incarnation by his specific symptoms. All the incarnations of Godhead are plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions of the Purusha avatars. But the primeval Lord is Sri Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of all incarnations. An opponent may say, this is your interpretation, but actually the Supreme Lord is Narayan, who is the transcendental realm. He, Narayan, incarnates as Lord Krishna. This is the meaning of the verse as I see it. There is no need for further consideration. To such a misguided interpreter, we may reply, why should you suggest such fallacious logic? And interpretation is never accepted as evidence if it possesses the principle of scripture. One should not state a predicate before the subject, for it cannot thus stand without proper support. If I do not state a subject, I do not state a predicate. First I speak the former and then I speak the later. The predicate of the sentence is what is unknown to the reader, whereas the subject is what is known to him. For example, we may say, this Vipra is a great learned man. In this sentence, the Vipra is the object and the predicate is the erudition. The man being Vipra is known, but his erudition is unknown. Therefore, the person is identified first and his erudition later. In the same way, all the incarnations were known, but whose incarnations they are was unknown. The word iti mean this establishes the subject. The incarnations, the plenary portions of the Purusha avatars follows as a predicate. In the same way, when Krishna was first counted among the incarnations, specific knowledge about him was still unknown. Therefore, first the word Krishna appears as a subject, followed by the predicate, describing him as the original personality of Godhead. This establishes that Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. The original personality of Godhead is therefore necessarily Krishna. Had Krishna been a plenary portion and Narayan the premier Lord, the statement of Sutta Goswami could have been reversed. Thus he would have said, Narayana, the source of all incarnations, is the original personality of Godhead, but has appeared as Sri Krishna. Mistakes, illusions, cheating, and defective perception do not occur in the saying of the authoritative sages. You say something contradictory and become angry when this is pointed out. Your explanation has the defect of the misplaced predicate. This is the unconsidered adjustment. Only the personality of Godhead, the source of all divinities, is eligible to be designated Swayam Bhagavan, or the primeval Lord. When from one candle many candles are lit, I consider that one the original. Krishna, in the same way, is the cause of all causes and all incarnations. Please hear another verse to defeat all misinterpretations. Here in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10 subjects are described. 1. The creation of the ingredients of the cosmos. 2. The creations of Brahma. Number 3. The maintenance of the creation. 4. Specific favor given to the faithful. 5. Impetuses for activity. 6. Prescribed duties for law-abiding men. 7. A description of the incarnations of the Lord. 8. The winding up of the creation. 9. Liberation from gross and subtle material existence. And 10. The ultimate shelter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the 10th item in this shelter of all the others. To distinguish the ultimate shelter from the other 9 subjects, the Mahajans have described these 9, directly or indirectly, through prayers or indirect explanations. To know distinctly the ultimate shelter of everything that can be, I have described the other 9 categories. The cause for the appearance of these 9 is rightly called their shelter. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is the shelter and abode of everything. All the universes rest in his body. The 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam reveals the 10th object, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the shelter of all surrendered souls. He is known as Sri Krishna, and he is the ultimate source of all the universes. Let me offer my obeisances unto him. One who knows the real feature of Sri Krishna and his 3 different energies cannot remain ignorant about him. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna enjoys himself in 6 primary expansions. His 2 manifestations are Prabhav and Vaibhava. Prabhava and Vaibhava. His incarnations are 2 kinds, namely partial and empowered. He appears in 2 ages, childhood and boyhood. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who is eternally an adolescent, is the primordial Lord, the source of all incarnations. He expands himself in the 6 categories of forms to establish his supremacy throughout the universe. In these 6 kinds of forms, there are innumerable varieties. Although there are many, they are all one. There is no difference between them. The Chit Shakti, which is also called Sarupa Shakti or Attaranga Shakti, displays many varied manifestations. It sustains the kingdom of God and its paraphernalia. The eternal energy called Maya Shakti is the cause of innumerable universes with varied material potencies. The marginal potency, which is between these 2, consists of the numberless living beings. There are the 3 principal energies, which have unlimited categories and subdivisions. These are the principal manifestations and expansions of the personality of Godhead and his 3 energies. They are all emanations from Sri Krishna, the Transcendence. They have their existence in him. Although the 3 Purushas are the shelter of all the universes, Lord Krishna is the original source of the Purushas. Thus, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is the original primeval Lord, the source of other expansions. All the revealed scriptures accept that Sri Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the Supreme Controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all forces. You know all the conclusion of the scriptures very well. You create these logical arguments just to agitate me. The same Lord Krishna, the fountainhead of the incarnations, is known as the son of King of Braj. He has descended personally as Lord Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is the supreme absolute truth. To call him Shirodakshay Vishnu does not add to his glory. But such words from the lips of the sincere devotees cannot be false. All possibilities abide in him, for he is the primeval Lord. All other incarnations are situated in potential form in the original body of the primeval Lord. Thus, according to one's opinion, one may address him as any one of the incarnations. Some say that Sri Krishna is directly Narayan. Others say that he is directly Brahmana. Some say that Krishna is the incarnation of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. None of this statement is impossible. Each is as correct as the others. Some call him Hari or the Narayan of the transcendental world. Everything is possible in Krishna, for he is the primeval Lord. I offer my obeisances unto the feet of all those who hear or read this discourse. Kindly hear with attention the conclusion of all these statements. A sincere student should not neglect the discussion of such conclusions, considering them controversial, for such discussions strengthen the mind. Thus one's mind becomes attached to Sri Krishna. By such conclusive studies, I know the glories of Lord Chaitanya. Only by knowing these glories can one become strong and fixed in attachment to him. Just to initiate the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I have tried to describe the glories of Sri Krishna in detail. The conclusion is that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the son of the King of Braj, praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy. I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. End of chapter 2. Adi Lila.